Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for the fact that makes your brain go. Gen Zers and millennials are doing this, something babies and toddlers do to feel good. It might not be that good of a look here in Chicago. Maybe you've seen it. Kenzie guessed a pretty first thought one, sucking their thumb. And Case says it's going to the playground more. Adults are going to the playground.
Well, I want adults to be able to go on slides and swing sets more than they are, because it's fun. Being on the swing is fun.
Yeah, it is. Tony checked in, another Elmwood Park check-in this morning, said poop their pants.
That's not good.
I sure hope that's not it. What about Elsie, the high school music teacher? She checked in and said wrapping themselves in a blanket.
Oh.
Is Gen Z not allowed to be cold? Is that beta? Are we not allowed to do that anymore?
No, it's okay to, if it's cold out or you crank the air conditioning low, you're allowed to get under the covers, snuggle in there with blankets. You can't have it warm and then go under blankets. That's embarrassing.
Okay, got it.
What are you doing? I like 224 watching cartoons. And maybe they don't mean like Family Guy. Maybe they mean like Bugs Bunny, like real old school cartoons.
Or
Tom
SpongeBob.
and Jerry.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry, good.
Because, I don't know what the age range of SpongeBob. It's probably high. I don't think the age is, it's not young.
Well, it's hilarious.
Right, but I think it's 30-year-olds watching SpongeBob.
Well, on YouTube TV now, they have what the channel that was Nicktoons is now Nick SpongeBob. They showed SpongeBob 24 hours a day, and I have it on constantly. It's awesome.
Well, you're right there, but that's not the answer. The answer that these Gen Zers and millennials, not Gen Xers, so starting at 44 up, they're not doing it, but my people, but millennials and Gen Zers are doing tummy time. Tummy time to feel better about the stress of their day. So, yeah, tummy time. I don't know if Marino still does tummy time, but when they're a baby and they're trying to figure out how to roll over and all that, they do tummy time.
No, because he's like walking around and stuff. He's got it. Nailed it. Now he's scooting and booting.
Now, I got to say, I went golfing yesterday. Back out a little stiff, came home. I saw this story then. What'd I do? I lit a blanket on the floor, did some tummy time. And I'm going to tell you, I forgot about the tummy.
It's awesome.
Laying on your... Kenzie, when's the last time you laid on your tummy?
It hurts my boobs.
Didn't think about that issue.
What a first world problem. Sorry, you
I
got
don't
a
think
nice
so. I feel like
rack.
every world has boobs.
Some have smaller, some have bigger.
Yeah.
It just hurts.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, to be honest. I never asked my wife. I never asked anybody about that. So you lay on your stomach and your boobs hurt.
It kind of. I suppose if you lay on a couch with like a pillow, but not like on the floor, that wouldn't feel good.
What if you put your elbows down to then lift up a little bit the front side of you?
Then my boobs would be, I guess. Is that tummy time? That's just like...
That could still be tummy time because you're arching your back the opposite direction that it is. And they say this is big because it cures tech neck. A lot of the millennials and Gen Zers have tech neck from looking at computers and your phone, and your neck gets stiff. So tummy time, doing it the other direction, looking at your phone or a laptop, it's better for your arched back, your neck, the vertebrae go the other direction. Maybe your boobs prop up that tummy time. I don't know. But I think
They could just do like a yoga class.
Nah.
Okay.
I guess that's part of it. I guess, what is it? Is that upward dog or downward dog? When you're forcing off the floor. And you kind of stretch.
Downward dog's when you face down.
And you push up from the floor, right? You push the floor.
I don't think you're pushing.
You go to the back, like your butt's up, like downward dog.
Yeah. You could do that. Or you could do tummy time. In the middle of the park, like in Grant Park, see a bunch. Why don't we all go to Grant Park and do some tummy time? All lay on our stomachs. Laying on your stomach's pretty underrated.
Did you have a TV show going when you were doing tummy time, or did you just raw dog it?
I raw dogged it. Yeah, I got naked and
naked.
No one was home.
Oh my God.
Your wife looks at you're naked laying on your stomach in the living room.
Yep. She said, I guess you're looking for another kid. This is a sexy pose.
No, I'm sure that was really irresistible.
Well, there it is. That's the fact that makes your brain go, try some tummy time today at work. It's Brian and Kenzie, Q101.
You can't defeat her. She's too powerful.
Klash with Kenzie.
Let the battle begin. Q101.
Let's go. Huge demand for Dave Matthews Band tickets. Friday, June 27th at Northerly Island. There's 2 shows that weekend, and you're going to that one. Tickets on sale now. A couple tickets left for it. From our great friends at Live Nation, the Summer Tour 2025 with Dave Matthews Band. You'll be there. And if Kenzie wins, remember, we'll still give them out to everybody listening. You'll still have a chance. But the person that really has the chance is Sienna checking in. Sienna, ahoy, tell us something about yourself.
It's Deanna.
Wait.
I'm from Oswego.
Wait, hold on. It's Deanna?
Yes.
Oh.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I like
Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
No, that's Dina, right? Dina?
Yeah, that's Dina. No Jersey Shore here.
Well, that's just a shame.
If Dina was on here, this would not be going that well, to be
I
honest.
would love it.
That's funny.
And tell us something about yourself, Deanna.
I'm a mom of 2. I'm a hairstylist, and I've been a huge fan of Dave Matthews since I was 15.
Hell yes. Well, let's go. Take these out of Kenzie's hands. Let's go. First one to 5 wins. Listen carefully. If Kenzie gets one wrong, you can steal a point. She can do the same to you. Call heads or tails.
Heads.
It is heads. You're up first. Here we go. Question number 1. What are the 2 primary colors in the Blockbuster logo?
Blue and yellow?
Yeah, that's right. Blue and yellow is right. Well, last time you've seen one. Somebody sent me a picture of a Blockbuster tape on the street somewhere. Just sitting on the street like a movie. I couldn't see what the
Like
movie
a
was.
VHS tape?
Yeah, VHS tape. Yeah.
Somebody
where
sing
were
that?
they?
Yeah.
They were here. I can't remember the exact street corners, but they were here. And I'm like, how'd that happen?
They're probably on Randall Road.
Maybe a lot of everything. They got everything.
Everything's on Randall Road.
I bet there was a bitchin' Blockbuster on Randall Road back in the day.
There's probably more than one. Let me tell you something.
It's kind of funny, Kenzie, because someone texted in when I said that about Randall Road. You could run errands on there, and I said, this girl says Brian doesn't know what's on there. And I said, well, give me a list. And she sent back Target, Walmart, Jewel, Myers, Kohl's, Five Below, Home Depot, Walgreens, CVS, Woodman's, Menards, Portillo's, Cooper Hawk's, Red Robin, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Lowe's, and 3 dispensaries.
To name a few.
Asked and answered.
Excellent job. It is 1-0, and it's back to Kenzie.
Kenzie, what video game retailer uses the slogan, power to the players? So a video game retailer.
There's only a few that I know of
Yep.
at all. So I'm going to go with like GameStop.
GameStop is right. There you go. It's 1-1.
That's all I really know, actually. So
That's fine. They're they were the ones with the stock thing craze a couple years ago. That
Yeah.
yeah.
They're hanging on. 1-1 back to Deanna.
Deanna, off the walls is a slogan of what popular shoe brand?
Oh, geez.
Guess a popular trendy shoe.
Popular. The Vans?
It's Vans. Good job.
Oh, my God. I can't believe I get that. Okay.
Amazing. Back to Kenzie.
That's right.
Grok is the AI component of what social media site? Grok. Grok.
why are you saying it like that? I know.
Gotta make sure you know.
I heard you.
We gotta get an answer.
I don't know. I'm going to guess X/Twitter.
It is X/Twitter. That's right.
Oh, wow.
It's getting a little annoying on Twitter because every time somebody puts something up now, somebody in the comments, usually the people that post it, will say, Grok, can you explain this? And then there'll be this
really?
AI explanation from Grok. So I think they're just trying to feed Grok so it gets smarter.
Yeah.
Why is it called Grok? Why is it just like, because Facebook's just says like Meta AI on it.
Yeah, I don't know. They just came up there trying to be clever with the name of it,
Well,
I guess.
Elon had a brilliant idea.
That's what I meant. Because the name was weird, I was like, well, it's probably.
Yeah, it's Elon,
Elon Musk.
baby. Yeah, he's all about it.
Yeah. But Grok will be the one that kills us down the road because we're feeding Grok right now on Twitter, if you're on there.
I agree. 2-2 is back to Deanna.
Deanna.
Yes.
Salento created a dance craze in 2015 by encouraging people to not only whip, but also do what?
Nene. Oh, God.
Well-worded question, Case.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Because you can't just whip. You also got to do the nene.
To not just whip.
It's very hard to clinically read that.
What a nowhere.
Because you would look like an
not
idiot
just
if you were just whipping.
Yeah,
but
come
you
on.
got a nene.
Yeah, very
Oh,
good.
my God.
Well done. Well done. Back to Kenzie.
That's right. 3-2. Kenzie has 2.
A group of people that assemble suddenly in a public place, perform for a brief time, then quickly disperse is known as what, Kenzie?
Oh, Flash Mob?
Flash Mob is right. Are they still around, Flash Mob?
I almost said Flash Dance. Yeah.
Flash Mobs were a thing for about 10 years ago for a minute. And then
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's in anymore.
No.
It would feel very dated if I feel like if you saw somebody do like a proposal via Flash, you'd be like, what year is it?
Or someone starts, whipping and nay-naying, and then everybody jumps in and whips and nay-nays.
Not only whipping, but also nay-naying.
See, if one just nay-nayed and the other's whipped, that could be a flash mob.
You know what my problem was with the Flash Mob? Is that it turned out that everybody there was in on it. So then who are you surprising?
It's that one person walking by.
Because
They're like,
it's fun when like 50 out of 1,000. So like all these people are like, whoa. But when they did it like Times Square and everybody joined in, I'm like, well, you've surprised nobody.
Yeah.
Now.
And then you
Like
just feel
that's kind of like eliminates the point of the surprise.
and the one person feels like a loser because they didn't get the memo.
He's the only
the
one
email.
left out.
Yeah. So 3-3.
And back to Deanna.
Deanna, who plays Barney Stinson on the TV show How I Met Your Mother?
Oh, geez. Is that the Doogie Howser guy? Well, I don't know what's his name.
You're on there. You're going. You're
Oh,
close.
geez, what is his name? I can't think of his name, though.
Oh, boy.
It is the Doogie Howser guy. I'll give you that hint.
God, I can't. Neil,
Keep going.
Return.
Yeah, got it. Right before the long buzzer.
I don't think there was a buzzer. I think you were just gonna sit there.
It's sort of an offensive rebound, reset the shot clock scenario.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, 4-3.
And back to Kenzie.
Kenzie, before starring as Carly in iCarly, Miranda Cosgrove made a name for herself as Megan in what show?
See, this was like, I was earlier than this. I was like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. And so, oh, she was on Drake and Josh.
Wow, jeez.
Oh my God, that just made me think of, okay, got it. Ah.
Let's just skip the explanation and get right to it.
Woo! Just clicked.
All right, so now we're 4-4. Next one wins, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Deanna, what is a male goose called?
Oh, my God.
A male goose.
Gander.
A gander's right. Oh my God.
God, dude, I don't even know where I pulled that out of my...
I'm sorry, you pulled that out of your nay-nay?
yeah, my name, yeah. Oh, my God.
Congratulations, you're going to Dave Matthews Band.
That's my son freaking out. He loves Dave.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Oh, my God. Thank you, guys. I'm so excited.
Hell yeah, I could do the whipping and the nay-naying over there while you enjoy it.
I'll definitely be doing the whip and nay-nay. I'll do it for you guys.
Congratulations, you're going.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hold on, Case will get your information. We'll have more tickets tomorrow at 7:10 with Brian and Kenzie on Q101 for the Dave Matthews Band show. Friday, June 27th, there's also a show on the 28th all weekend from our great friends Live Nation and, of course, from Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. There's an urgency to our message here about the problems in air traffic control and the found problem maybe causing all these accidents and plane crashes tragically in the last year, last several months. But we have someone checked in 312 said, man, I'm getting on a plane in 2 minutes. What do I do? Well, this is very interesting because when we give you this information, and thanks for listening on the app on your phone, the Q101 app or iHeartRadio, very easy to keep us with you. And the podcast would delay this, of course, if you listen to it later.
That'd be bad.
No, he knows about it now.
They're
Give
listening
him
to
the information, Brian.
Okay, let's not delay
They're
anything.
on the playlist of the podcast like, man, I should have got it on this plane.
All right, here we go. And share it with the plane. Stand up and yell this to everybody when you get this information at O'Hare, Midway, wherever you are. Here it is. Here it is. The FAA is finally replacing floppy disks and Windows 95
Oh, my God.
in air traffic control systems. They're on
What's
Windows.
a floppy disk?
You don't even know. Isn't that amazing?
I've heard of it. Obviously, the plot of the first Mission Impossible, which I reviewed a few weeks ago, is based around a floppy disk. I don't understand what they are.
I have to
That
go.
sounds like a sport. I thought it was like a frisbee.
So back in the day,
Oh, boy.
kids sat around the campfire here.
God.
Back in the day.
Oh, God.
So back in the day, computers didn't actually have enough hard drive space. Hard drives weren't terabytes. They weren't hundreds of gigs. And you could store things on floppy disks. They were like...
They were actually like floppy?
Yes, they were I want to kind of describe them as a floppy 45 album, but that even sounds old.
Well, that makes it sound older. That's even more dated technology.
And so there's a movie that Case needs to watch. I don't know if you've ever seen it, Kenzie, because we talk about AI a lot here on the show, is the War Games with Matthew Broderick.
I love Matthew Broderick.
An incredible movie that I'm not going to get in the plot of right now, but there's something involving hacking. But floppy disks are part of that, where you could put programs on them, because computers couldn't hold all that stuff. They couldn't hold programs, and they weren't even as big as they are now. Programs didn't take up that much space, but still, you put it in the computer, it slid in a slot, and then whatever you slid that into, then that would come up in your computer. You could use it, a program. I hope I'm describing this right. The tech guys are probably going like, this guy's an idiot, but that's basically what it is. If you want to describe it better, you can call up.
So it's like a hard drive?
It's a disk that holds data. Like a hard drive, but the hard drives weren't big back then. And then they had these things called hard disks. They were just harder disks that went in and out too.
Like CDs?
They weren't CDs. They were like a plastic thingy, but there was like a little CD in it. So it had like a casing on it. I still have some of these laying around in some tote somewhere.
I don't understand how the floppy disk got in the computer if it was
Thank
floppy.
you. I don't know where he's throwing it at the screen.
Because I don't want to bring like sex organs into this, but if something is softer, it typically is harder to do the thing.
It's not
since the beginning of time.
Since man was created.
It's not completely flaccid disk. It's
You're right. It's floppy, not flaccid. That's a different product.
So it has some stiffness to it. Not to stay on this theme. But
what you put it like where you put like games, like you put it in that area.
There was a slot on old computers that you'd put the floppy disk into. So there was like a video game console.
So there was a slot solely, the only purpose was for a floppy disk.
I bet we have computers here that have a floppy disk slot in them somewhere.
I'm sure we do. Steve Pacheco, if you're
Why
here.
didn't they just make it hard to begin with? It sounds like more difficult.
I think making it floppy, and again, I'd like a tech, I don't know. I think making it floppy made it so it wouldn't break, and you'd put it in this kind of holder to hold all your floppy disks.
I'm imagining a rubber dog toy. that you just whip.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
It was very thin plastic, a floppy disk. You could also, you could maybe Google it to get an idea of what it was. And then there was, the computers used to have this slot you put it in.
Okay.
Yeah. So they weren't completely flaccid. They were somewhat stiff.
So you're telling me air traffic control was using these?
Now. They were still using them now. I haven't seen a floppy disk in, 20 years maybe? I don't know when the last time one was.
What info are they putting on there? Like flight landed? Like what is going on a floppy disk?
It essentially probably ran programs. The head of the agency wants to replace the archaic systems with something that belongs in the 21st century. This is a quote from the FAA. The whole idea is to replace the system. No more floppy disks or paper strips, he said, which probably set off shockwaves when he said floppy disks. He said over a third of the nation's air traffic control systems are unsustainable and starting to fail. And many of it because allegedly they're still using 90s technology, floppy disks.
That seems very dangerous.
So to answer the question of that person that was just getting on a flight, said, what do I do? I wonder if they're still getting on that flight. You alert everybody on the plane. But I don't want you getting arrested.
They're using a floppy disk.
Possibly using that. So that will cost billions of dollars to upgrade.
You would think that would have been one of the first things to receive new technology is air traffic control.
If someone's going to get something, I'll pass on my new tech to give it to them.
Honestly, on a much less severe scale, because nobody could die with what we're doing, but people think that about radio stations all the time. Like, you must have the nicest technology, and we have the most outdated equipment usually. Yeah. And that happens at a lot of, like, radio stations and media companies. Because the overhaul to pay to replace everything is so expensive that companies put it off until basically, like, we're like, so we can't be on air anymore. And they're like, oh, fine. Like, that's what ends up happening.
Here's more on the story that's going to make you more scared about flying.
Oh, good.
It's estimated that it will take 4 years and the cost of tens of billions of dollars to update from floppy disks in Windows 95. Sony made the last new floppy disk in 2011.
Oh.
14 years ago.
So what did they just buy, like Elaine from Seinfeld when she bought out her birth control? Like, did they just buy all the floppy disks?
Excellent analogy. That's probably what they did. They're being phased out in most businesses. But here's the even more scary part. Decades-old Windows 95 operating systems continue to run trains, probably here in Chicago, ATMs, elevators, and government systems around the world because the cost of new hardware is too much, and no one wants to buy new hardware. Want a new desktop computer? That's going to accrue in value.
Like, I understand why certain companies, I not understand, it's lame, but they're like super cheap about their, computers, that like a traditional 9-to-5 job. They don't want to replace all the computers and all the printers and stuff. It's expensive. But these could lead to dangerous death. Like, why would you do that?
We've seen some planes crash recently. It's not great.
Well, that's what Frank on the text line was like. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think it's broke. I think we have to fix it.
Windows. I have a desktop at home that's actually 13 years old, and
Has it have Vista on it?
I'm trying to remember the operating system.
Because this was my thing, is Windows 95 is so scary, because if it was Windows XP, I'd be like, well, greatest operating software ever. Just leave it. Let's all go back to Windows XP. But if it's Vista, dude, that sucks.
Yeah. I think I still have Safari on. No, I have a Firefox still on as a browser.
Hey, 2009 called, Brian.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Might as well
No
have
wonder you have all these issues with people like hacking you.
Actually, people say the one good thing about it is having the older tech is harder to hack because they can't even
But
figure
I
out
think
how to.
Firefox was discontinued because of that almost.
I loved Firefox. That computer just has this. I have this desktop corner unit that's kind of like.
The best logo, hands down. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
It's just my nostalgia computer. I still have that going on.
You have a nostalgic computer.
Yeah.
You have the ESPN front page from 2007 pulled up. It just makes you feel good.
Oh, God.
When I added that Sony hasn't made a floppy disk since 2011, Lizette texted in and said, effing Brian, LOL, there's more.
You're like the Billy Mays of bad news.
Yeah. This is terrifying. Paul checked in and said, so my flight is running a disk that uses the Oregon Trail.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. This is, it is insane. And somebody's saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. No, this is the exact scenario in which you don't wait for it to break because people will die. This is your responsibility to make sure you're updated and streamlined. This isn't a normal situation of I ran my computer into the ground. That's not good. You can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, it is one thing to say, it's not broke, don't fix it. Maybe a mixer in your kitchen, not something that's got lives on its hands.
Yeah, not air traffic control is not let's run it into the ground until it all explodes. Not good.
Now, Brandon checked in and said, Firefox is amazing. Still use it. Chrome effing sucks.
All right, well, let's settle down.
But that leads to a question we could ask you right now is what old tech are you holding on to? What old tech are you just I have that desktop
yours
computer.
Is Firefox.
It actually, that's not what I was thinking of. For me, it's still having really big terabyte external drives. I don't trust the cloud.
Oh, my God.
I don't trust it. I'm on it.
You can't have all your wife's nudes up in the sky.
How can I have that? Can't handle that.
Although I feel like those are important for people who like photographers and stuff like that do have huge backup hard drives. Somebody way beyond, who needs way more storage than the average person.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff to store. And
I don't know why you have it.
What do you have?
I have pretty much.
All your porn is printed. So what do you have?
How dare you assume all my porn is only printed?
You have crates of Playboy. What do you?
How dare you assume that?
How could there be more porn?
Believe it or not.
But wait.
I don't mean to shock you, but if you just pay $9.99 right now, you can get more of my digital porn. It's all there for you.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
And the headlines coming up at 8:20, the funniest headlines of the week. You decide what story we talk about. You decide the content of the show. Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And we just kind of broke this news that scared people out there that the FAA, this is a report saying that they are finally going to replace floppy disks and Windows 95 and air traffic control systems. I'm not even sure when I say Windows 95, people know what that is. Obviously you're looking at 90s, the platform that was Windows then. And some people's computers might still, like you said, Vista might still be on people's computers. What was after Vista?
Oh, God, I should know this. I used to be really into this.
Yeah. I used to be into it.
What does that even mean? What do you mean you used to be into it?
I
used to be in the operating system.
Yeah, I was always curious. Maybe it was Windows 8. I don't know. All I know is that Windows 95
Why would
is
they just
so
go in
old.
order? Why wasn't it Windows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8?
Because they had to be clever, make funny names for them.
But like, we should be able to easily tell what's next. It should have just been the next number.
Well, that's big government. That's big computer trying to confuse you.
Big tech, if you will.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what I'm not into.
Big tech.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Windows 95 is so old that when it was introduced at the Microsoft shareholder meeting, like the big presentation, they had
How old is it?
They had the cast of Friends be like, "Hey, we're on TV. Check out this computer."
Wow.
That's how old it is.
That's amazing.
Well, wasn't it made in 95?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my point. We're agreeing with each other.
What old tech are you still holding on to? Tracy is checking in. Ahoy, Tracy. What's up?
Hello?
Yes. What old tech are you holding on to?
Like I explained, we have two. We have two DVD players, and we still have over almost 400 DVDs.
That's badass.
Because, we have every streaming service, but then, hey, we want to watch this movie? It's not on anything. Guess what? We have the DVD for it.
Boom.
Boom.
Second thing, my boyfriend has an Xbox 360. It's over 15 years old. He's brought it back from the ring of death twice, and it's still working.
How?
He is, you know what? I don't know this whole situation, but he is not a big tech guy. He got the parts, looked it up on YouTube twice, and did it.
Kenzie, do you know what the red ring of death is for Xboxes?
No.
Oh, boy.
I've never had an Xbox.
You can go through a wormhole on the Reddit threads on that.
They say it's almost impossible to fix, but he fixed it twice.
When does it happen? Like if you dump water on it on accident or something? Like when does it happen?
It burns out. You use it too much, and eventually it just burns out. And there's a circle red ring, and that's like, okay, it's done. And he's like, no, it's not. I'm going to figure it out.
Imagine, Kenzie, you're looking.
I don't have $500 to get a new one, so we're going to fix this.
Imagine you're looking forward to playing some Halo, and you get home, you turn it on, that red ring showed up. It's the most disappointing thing in life when it happened.
It's the most disappointing thing that had happened.
I stand by that statement.
Number one with a bullet.
I stand by that statement. Dude, there's nothing more disappointing than that, and it might take years to get over it when the red ring of death showed up on your Xbox.
Does that happen to you?
Oh, yes, it did.
That's what cured his addiction.
I was so addicted that when that happened, I decided to move on from gaming. I had to retire because I was pretty good then. I was a pretty badass at Halo.
Is there any conspiracy theory that they just do that so you have to buy the new one? That it's on purpose?
Get on some Reddit threads, Kenzie.
I
you will see all the conspiracy. There's a
Because that sounds like on purpose AF to me.
There's a person in a satellite that's over the earth right now that controls that and takes out different Xboxes at different times. I've gone down it. Yep. I believe some of them. Thank you so much, Tracy, for checking in. On the text line, in case you see any more here that are just entertaining. On old tech you're holding on to, someone mentioned the Zune player.
That Aaron on the text line is still watching movies on his Zune. What movies?
Now, the Zune player was to compete with the iPod.
Yes.
And it came out, actually, it was better than the iPod when it came out. Microsoft made it to compete with Apple, but it's been discontinued for 13 years. And he's watching movies on that little screen of the Zune player.
And nothing.
I'm not able to tell if we're talking about old tech or new tech because I've never heard of any of this stuff. It's very confusing.
Oh, man.
224 checked in on the text line. They texted in saying this, which is blowing my mind, that they're still using a flip phone.
Oh, boy.
We have people texting the show on a flip phone?
Now, you know
Can you
what?
imagine how long it took them to hit the F, the L?
Which is very funny because The Departed was on last night on
Probably
USA
AMC,
or something.
yeah.
And while they were texting in their pockets on the flip phones, so they didn't look at it even. I used to be able to do that. Speaking of which, we had a 708 check, and I still have my Nextel Motorola cell phone where you went the little walkie-talkie, I always wanted to. You ever know what those are?
I don't think so.
So it was Sprint, which is gone now. I can't remember who. I think
T-Mobile
gobbled up Sprint.
Yeah.
And it had a button on the side. And so you could, instead of using, because back then you had to pay for minutes.
Oh, my God.
Well, how can you tell how long it took to send a text?
You had limited texts, too. You had about 100 texts for the month.
But the minutes were for the calls, right? Now
The minutes were for the
They weren't
calls.
timing your texts.
Oh my God, how stressful with everything, a bomb counting down trying to spell out a word.
This is why people were happier then, because you couldn't text all day. And you couldn't talk all day either. But the Nextel took it next level. We hit that little button on the side. You could talk to your friends on the walkie-talkie part of the phone. You like, it always made the little sound. It looked so cool at bars. People did it. I was like, I want one of those.
But was it like the equivalent of a voice memo now?
It was live walkie-talkie through your phone. So if you were at home.
Where were they?
Anywhere. You could be at home and I could be at the bar and I go,
so
Case,
you
what are
would
you
just
doing?
hear the whole conversation out loud?
Yeah,
like
it
a
was like
walkie-talkie?
That seems so inconvenient.
That seems like very frustrating for everybody else.
But it was modern because it superseded the I only have 100 texts to send this month and 100 minutes to use. Think about that.
100 texts to send in a
Why
month.
didn't you just get a walkie-talkie?
Well, because this used cell phone technology to go further than a walkie-talkie, but it was a walkie-talkie essentially, the Nextel. Oh, I wanted a Nextel.
So you couldn't like really talk though, because you'd be doing it in front of everybody would hear what the person
No,
said.
you wouldn't believe, Kenzie, if you got on a red line train and people were on their Nextels, no one cared what the conversation was being heard. People talked all the time
I'm too
out loud.
nosy for that. I would have never gotten anything done. I would have been up in everybody's business.
Josh just texted in, this is so accurate to that. Unlimited phone minutes after 9 and weekends. After 9 p.m. and weekends, you got unlimited minutes.
Why? That's when you spend the most time talking to people. You think they would charge more then?
But they figured that they were going to take care of you then. That's how they get you, like drug dealers.
So did weekends count Friday? 'Cause you know how it
What a
feels like a
great
weekend?
question. Yeah.
9 p.m. it started the weekend on Friday.
Okay, and then Saturday and Sunday was unlimited.
Yep.
But then what about a long weekend? Like if you had President's Day on a
Oh,
Monday?
right. Did you get them men?
I'm glad I can answer all these questions today.
I don't understand how this works.
Well, I remember a lot of this vividly, but I might need someone that worked for the company to remind me that if it was a Memorial Day weekend, did they add on Memorial Day?
if the CEO of Sprint could call in, that'd be great.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
Q101.
Well, it's 8:20 on Wednesday. We will get to headlines in a second, but we broke the news that the FAA has announced that they're going to need to spend billions of dollars. It might take 4 years to finally upgrade from floppy disks and Windows 95 and air traffic control systems. The last floppy disk was made by Sony in 2011. This is what's controlling the skies. Some people have defended it, saying the older tech is harder to hack. That's why sometimes the train systems still use this stuff.
But we had a huge system hacking. Remember when, like, 2 years ago?
Yep. Remember that? Yep.
Okay.
Probably
Well, I don't know. Just an idea.
Probably some hacker with a floppy disk.
Yeah.
That's how he went in the system. Now we have some answers to some of the questions that were put out there. First off, let's see here. 708 checked in and said, "I have passed away." Case and Kenzie not knowing the amazingness of the Nextel chirp. That's what I was describing with the walkie-talkie, the little. And another person checked in and said it's very similar to just FaceTiming today. You just couldn't see them. You talked to them on that walkie-talkie, but people have no problem FaceTiming on the train or out in public, a private conversation, which is what you asked
But,
about,
like,
Kenzie.
usually, I mean, I'm not a fan of people doing the speakerphone, no headphone talk. But I feel like a lot of times people have headphones, so you don't hear the other. You just hear the person every once in a while.
True. But people were just as rude back then as they are now, using FaceTiming or talking in public on a
Right.
speakerphone.
yeah, but those
Fair.
people they should be in jail.
Well, that's for society to decide.
The judges and jurors
Not
of
us,
society.
not us here today.
Okay.
Also, we got an answer on the weekends and nights, free minutes on the phone when you had a limited amount of minutes on your phone. And we were talking about Sprint. 773 checked in. My brother worked at Nextel. Holidays weren't free. So those nights and weekends, if it was Memorial Day weekend, you still had to pay for your minute or use up your minutes on those days. Got that answer. Asked and answered.
How did they know what time it was?
What do you mean?
So it was nighttime is when it was free. How do they know? How do they know when it was night?
What are you asking? How does the phone
How do
company
they know
Yeah,
when
how
it
does the
what?
company know?
How do they not know what time it is? Kenzie,
How do they know when I'm sending a text at night?
Like you knew your phone has a time on it.
Okay, all right. That's all I wanted to know.
they looked at the clock. There's all cases texting somebody. Let's take one of those away.
There was somebody in your room. When you bought a cell phone, a whole person came with it. They said your room.
Do you understand what I'm asking?
No, you think you know time better than the phone company?
I made no such allegation, Your Honor.
Sounds like
all
it.
I was saying was at some point, so at 8:59, I get charged an arm and a leg to send a text message. At 9 o'clock, it's free. How does the company know it's 9 o'clock when I'm the one texting?
Because it's
on
your
your phone.
with a
It's
time
like a
on it.
phone record.
Okay, all right, phone
Like,
record.
I
all
could
right.
pull the company could pull your phone records and see everybody you've called and texted right now.
And they have a clock. I mean,
clock on your phone.
the program probably said when it hits 9, it's free now. You can text away.
Now I know.
And I can't tell you how often you would wait to text somebody. It's 7 o'clock. Ah, crap, I can't talk to him right now. I got to wait 2 hours. Because I'm almost out of my minutes.
As a guy, can I ask a question? You know, like
should
how
be good.
guys definitely like want to come across like they got money, they're doing well, they want to look that way. Were you ever like, F, she's gonna know I'm a brokey because I have to wait till 9 to text her? Like, was that stressful because like you're gonna look broke?
You made a lot of excuses not to text earlier for that reason.
Like for real? Honestly.
100%. 100%.
Because you're like, sorry, I was at work because you couldn't be like, I had to wait till 9 because I don't have any money.
Well, it wasn't said that way, but yes, in your head it was. I don't have any money, so I can't text it till 9.
Like, you'd have to know, like, like, say a guy, like, was at the club, like, he's, like, rich, and then it's like, he will only text me after 9. I know he doesn't actually have money. You know?
But the best thing you could do back then, which you can't do too often today, you can do a little bit today, but I don't have good cell service. I'm not in a good cell area. Most of the time, you're in a good cell area, I think, today, right?
I'd hope so.
Like, I can remember there was a specific spot.
You have to literally be, like, in the jungle. I'm like, okay, it's fine. You're in Peru at Machu Picchu. I get it.
I can tell you that the Cicero exit on 55, Sprint would always go out there if I was driving. I'd be pulling up, driving that way, and I'd go, okay, I'm going to lose you in a second because I'm almost at the Cicero exit. And it was like clockwork. Sprint, they had some kind of weird cell area there where it would just drop.
Huh.
I knew what exits the phone would drop at.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that wasn't that long ago.
Nope.
That sounds like Lewis and Clark time.
Yeah, the plane just went up. The Wright brothers just got that plane up. And then, there we go. A couple more texts I have to read here about this old tech you're hanging on to. Jay checked in. I still have my Sega Genesis with Sonic on it.
Good for you.
Michael says, my dad had a Nextel phone and spent all his calls with his buddies on the walkie-talkie mode at the house. Staying with that, a guy named Gus checked in. This has to be a Gus. Hey, it's Gus from Gage Park, man. Some old tech I'm holding on to is my 96 Ford Bronco. Motor won't blow up like everyone's 2024 car nowadays. Love you, Gus.
Settle down, Gus. We didn't make any accusations.
Also,
That's what I'm scared of. I know my car's just going to randomly blow up.
Also, many people texted this. Back to the original conversation of the floppy disk on how you, in case, did not know what a floppy disk looked like. It's the save icon. So when you go to save something on your computer now, even on like a file, let's say Word or whatever. So go to Word.
Kenzie, you're pulling up Word.
Yeah. And then go to save.
Think I have Word.
It looks like she's playing an atom over there.
Also, I'm not sure it's still there, that save icon.
Everything auto saves now. We're past the point of saving.
I don't know if I have Microsoft Word.
Do you have Windows 95 over there?
I don't understand. I just went to File, so it's not just normal save.
What's normal save?
Like, I went to File, Save, but there's no icon.
There's no
on,
little,
like, my normal computer without Windows open.
There's no little square icon there?
No.
All right. I don't know what to tell you. All right, so it is time for Head to Headlines. We'll move on from this wonderful conversation. Coming up after Fall Out Boy, 2 headlines, the funniest ones of the week. We've narrowed it down to 2 out of the hundreds. You decide the content of the show. You vote on the headline. We break down. We'll never talk about the other story again, so you got to get ready to choose wisely. So in the meantime, enjoy this Fall Out Boy song, Brian and Kenzie, Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.